Hey everybody, it's me again, and well, I definitely am doing delays on videos lately. Um, Sorry about that. This month, I'm gonna be reviewing Snow White, the recent remake, and I'm gonna break it up into two parts because, oh my gosh, I have never ever, I don't think I've ever seen a movie this broken before it premiered and among the fan base. And I'd like to talk about both that part and the movie itself and what I really thought about it. Mainly because it's going to come onto streaming. So, but in the meantime, let's talk about the original Disney Snow White and why some people think it might be outdated and why I disagree with them. Because, well, a lot of times things. Sorry, gonna sorry. Um, a lot of times people are going to talk about how things need to be updated, and there are times I agree with them, but there are also times where um, where we don't realize what doesn't need to be updated, for lack of a better way to say it. And this will be looking at some of the things that people call outdated, and well, I'm going to see if I can defend some of these claims. So, um, let's start with number one, the prince. Well, okay, I cannot fully defend this one, and I will admit that because the prince is dull and boring. But at the same time, he's much more interesting than the prince in Cinderella. I like by a million miles. He's much more interesting than the prince in Cinderella because one, he actually does save Snow White, and two, he sings. He's got a wonderful voice. I and and the prince in Cinderella just dances and yawns. That's all I remember about him. I'm not sure why some people thought he was a stalker. Well, I can get it. Maybe that was, though that was, I don't know, was that meant to be a joke or something? He just happened to pass by each time I when he found Snow White. He was just passing through. The first time after hearing her sing, though I guess you could make the argument that the wishing well brought him because Snow White was wishing for the one she loved to come find her, and here he came on a white stallion. And the second time was when he happened to hear about the maid asleep in the glass coffin, and happens to be the same girl that he fell in love with. And yeah, logically, none of this makes sense, but well, not all fairy tales live in a world of logic like we tragically do. And that's what Snow White was for most of us. It was an escape from logic and just emotionally fueled. And that's what we loved about it. We loved the idea of, some people loved the idea of true love coming out of literally nowhere, or a wishing well giving us exactly what we wanted in the future. So, yeah, I cannot defend the prince's character trait, not really, unless you put him up against Prince Boring in Cinderella. I, but otherwise, I, that's my defense on the prince. Okay, Grumpy's remarks about women. Oh yes, I'm actually defending this one, shockingly. So I've had a couple people point out that Grumpy makes a remark about women while Snow White is asleep. I where he's like, "She's a female. Like all females is poison. They're full of wicked wiles." And I get why he said it because he clearly likes her. And he absolutely doesn't want to admit it. So he's hiding behind an old belief that women are trouble. Even after we see that he likes her, after she kisses him on the head, he does a bad job of masking how much he really does like her and care about her as a friend. I and also, well, if the Once Upon a Time show gave a little continuity, I don't know. You guys take your pick. Um, the Once Upon a Time show did give a reason why why he was angry with women and the idea of women. Because he had his heart broken after being forced to give up the girl that he loved. Well, fairy that he loved. So in both cases, he uses his anger to hide uh, his hurt and true feelings for anyone. So ultimately, whether he liked it or not, Snow White brought it out of him, even causing the toughest audience member to cry alongside with him during the wake. Right? So, yeah, that's my defense on that one. Number three, the kiss. Let's talk about some stupidity, shall we? so, um, people called this kiss non-consensual. So for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, Snow White is asleep in the glass coffin because the evil queen poisoned her, and the only way she can wake up is literally by true love's first kiss. And yeah, the Grimm's fairy tale version had another way that she woke up. I woke up. Sorry, I. But yeah, um, and the prince comes by after hearing about the maid in the glass coffin and kisses her, and she comes back to life. People, for some reason, called it non consensual and found it problematic. Um, while it is true that Snow White and the Prince literally met in one day, it's still more than enough time than what the original Grimm's fairy tale gave, where they met in literally 1 minute. In the beginning, Snow White wished for someone that she loved to come save her, and then the well granted her wish by bringing the prince to the castle. As she sings, no, as he sings to her, she falls in love with him. If she saw him again before poisoned, then she would have definitely kissed him. That's the kind of fairy tale it is. So that kiss was not only consensual, but it literally saved her from sleeping eternally, and heck, even saved her from potentially being buried alive. Yeah, that's what the Wicked Queen thought that she'd do. So, yeah, this kiss was very consensual because they truly did love each other. I I cannot speak for other scenarios outside of this story, but it's a story. Um, Number four, Snow White cleaning for the dwarves. I never saw anything wrong with this. I really never saw anything wrong with this. If anything, it made cleaning look fun because she had the animals helping her out, and she was singing a song while doing it. It just looked fun. I and on top of that, um, what's wrong with a woman cleaning or a man cleaning or whichever? What's wrong with cleaning? It has to be done. It's not always fun unless you sing while doing it or play music while doing it. In fact, I think Disney is the one company that made cleaning look fun. I, Whether it be Snow White or Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, etc. It looked fun. So, well, are there women capable of independent living? Oh, totally. But in Snow White's case, cleaning and cooking was the best trade she could offer as a tenant to the dwarves. When she first cleans the place, it's just out of pure kindness in order to surprise the dwarves, who she thinks are children at first. The second time, I saw it as a tenant deal where she would pay for a room and bed with cooking and cleaning the house. I've been a tenant in somebody's house plenty of times, and I not only had to pay rent, but I even had to I even offered to um, clean for a shorter pay, whether it be mowing the lawn or helping my landlord a little bit with his business. Um, Sometimes I cooked or took care of some of the landlord's chores in order to live well. For me, this is what this scenario is. It's just her, um, I taking care of her share of a room and board, while the dwarfs take care of the entire house by going to work. Number 5, Snow White being a damsel. I don't think there's anything wrong with the need to be rescued. I mean, sometimes there's nothing wrong. I mean, sometimes there's absolutely nothing a victim can do to save themselves. Key word being sometimes. And Snow White was one of those exceptions. She was literally sent off into the world stripped of a home, loved ones, and the life she once knew. That would be traumatic for anyone. So, if there was help, she'd accept it, whether from animals, the dwarfs, or ultimately the prince. And frankly, from what I've heard, the updated remake has her accept help from men too. I I get why feminists seem to think that women shouldn't need help, but sometimes you just need help. I mean, it's not a shameful thing to ask for help or need help, especially when there's nothing you could do. I I don't know why, but feminists seem to think that just that just because that's on screen that it's telling every girl to be damsels, and it's not true. This is Snow White's own story, and you know what? Everyone has a different story. I have my story, you have your story, they have their stories all around. Disney has a whole collection of stories. Whether the girls were damsels or they fend for themselves or somewhere in between, or even outside of the box of either. You don't have to be one or the other. You just need to be your own story. And number 6, scaring the kids. Well, I do have I do have some compassion about that, but at the same time, I mean, because this movie truly did terrify me as a kid. I love this movie very much, but oh my gosh, that forest, that hag. I those were scary. I mean, it's like what I got from watching The Wizard of Oz. I That witch always scared me. And in some ways, it's both a I mean, it's I it always depends on how kids take it. Sometimes kids can take it, other times they absolutely can't. It's about knowing your kids. I I almost do wonder if I mean, but at the same time, adults can um, get traumatized from it too. In fact, I kind of wonder how. I mean, if the animators ever got nightmares from looking at that hag. I, however, when making stranger danger films and stories, they would show strangers to be scary monsters, and this movie did the same thing. This movie is often used when talking about stranger danger and the consequences of trusting the wrong kind of stranger. Life is scary, but you know what? The great Don Bluth later said that you could get away with scaring kids if you have the happiest of endings. And this movie effectively does that. It has so many scary moments, but it has the happiest ending that you could ever hope for her. Um, Number 7, the dwarves. Ironic that it's at number 7. Okay, so um, I will admit that I'm probably not the right person to talk about this. I'm 5'2", but you know what? I personally loved them. I Aside from the fact that they had more personality than either of the love interests, I found they were relatable. My sisters and I would compare ourselves to the dwarves. My older sister was sleepy, I was happy, and, well, my baby sister at the time, well, when she was a baby, that is, was grumpy. Nowadays, I almost wonder, I mean, nowadays, I wonder if it's changed up a bit for us. I I almost wonder if my sisters would say that I was happy still, or if I was Doc or Dopey. I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything offensive about these guys. But then again, maybe I'm missing something. I saw that they were kind, very caring, cautious, musically talented, physically strong, had their own flaws, in their case being clean, and goofy, just like anyone else. And on top of that, these guys are filthy rich. I mean, like, they have a diamond mine and a diamond vault. Like, these guys are crazy rich. So, living the dream. And also, to be honest, I love these characters more than Snow White. They were always the best part for me. And, um, well, I like them for who they were. Um, Number nine, the plot pacing. Hmm, I'm a little more forgiving for this because, well, this is where I try to give Disney grace about it because technically this was an 80-minute silly symphony short, so there is I mean nowadays we would say that they are pacing issues where it slows down a showing filler moments like you could have skipped the tub scene and go straight to them having the dwarves having supper, or you could skip the scene where Snow White is singing to her new woodland friend animals after just running from the queen. But at the same time, it does build moments. It builds the characters a little bit. Yeah, it goes slow, but this was animation. Um, this was animation. I'm trying to remember the word. I This was basically an animation experiment, for lack of a better way to say it, and well, it was trying to get the audience invested into the heart and soul of who these characters were and what their environment was. Did it do it perfectly? No. But at the same time, it did it in a way where you felt immersed in it. I It fleshed out the dwarves. I The plot and songs helped the characters come alive, and and even show Snow White's new friends in the forest animals and the dwarves. So I Pinocchio would follow up, and that's where Disney did improve plot pacing, but give Snow White some grace on that at least. I but I get it. Maybe it's not for everybody. And I'll go for number 10, where one of my friends pointed out something. I Number 10, the dwarfs potentially having a crush on Snow White. I know that some people might find that creepy. I get it. I get it. Because age difference, etc. But and even Walt Disney saying that Bashful absolutely had a crush on Snow White. But I later shared with my friend that um, having a crush and acting on that crush are two different things. Neither of the dwarves ever acted their crush out for her. I mean, they cared about her very much, but they knew that she was destined for a better match. But they still cared enough to put their lives um, in front for her. They really cared for her. So, yeah, that is my defense of the top 10 quote unquote dated a Snow White situations. And you know what? Is it a flawless movie? No. But I can understand why people call this movie dated or well, outdated, I should say. Um, but I strongly still disagree. There are some outdated details that I will not defend from Disney, like the song "What Makes the Man Red," the Red Man Red. from Peter Pan or Sunflower from Fantasia, but this was a movie I found to be wholesome in its own right. And it knew how to reach out to general audiences, not specific audiences other than maybe kids, but to audiences everywhere. It cared that much. And there truly was heart and soul in that story. What do you guys think? Do you like do you like the 1937 movie or not really? And well, with the new Snow White movie coming out eventually, well, coming out to streaming next week, let's see how it goes. I I've not seen the movie in theaters. I did not want to, but we're going to talk about that. Um, and hopefully I can be fair about it. So, this is Bonnie from Joy Unicycle saying, see you later.